Once beaten, they say, is twice shy. One is bound to shiver over reliving the violence and the bitter experience that trailed the EndSars protests in Nigeria in 2020. So apprehension is growing over plans by some youths to stage demonstrations to mark the first anniversary of the EndSars protests. Many Nigerians are saying, never again. Babajide, I've been seeing posts from Omoyele Sowore across the country. There's one he just posted this afternoon that will take place in Enugu. There's another one he said will take place in Lagos. There's another one that will take place in Abuja. You know what thing I did? Immediately I saw that post, I went to the comment sections. So because sometimes when I see the post, I want to gauge the mood of the people. What people were saying, you need to see what people are saying. People are saying that he should go and get his wife and his children in America and come and to lead the protests. That please go and look for all your family members, put them there. Yes, go to his comment section to lead the protests. So if you do that, don't worry, we will join you. So just to gauge the mood of the people.
You see, we can't deny that the memories of EndSars will live with us even forever. No doubt about it. It started when Segun Awosanya published a petition, and that petition was signed by 10,190 Nigerians calling for the scrapping of the police unit EndSars. It was an online campaign at that time, but the people were mobilized to take to the streets, and EndSars was hijacked. No one can begrudge the young people who wanted change. They wanted change, and
a noble idea.
They had a noble idea of ending the reckless excesses of the police. The police, especially SARS, they saw themselves as God. I can tell you that, look, even within the police, they were detested. Because some of them, even from the illicit money they were making, they were arrogant towards fellow policemen, and they were beginning to see themselves as too big, and they were killing people. So that's the reason many people, including me, supported SARS, and I have no regret. I've said it so many times. The idea of the protest was not wrong. Even the president admitted that, look, you were right in protesting, but we've had you. The only thing was that they stayed too long on the roads and they were inconveniencing other people. At a point, I remember suggesting that, look, you can even leave one lane of the road, but you know, young people sometimes, when they are succeeding at something, it goes into their heads. So by blocking entire roads, highways in our country, you made it difficult for other people to end their livelihood. And there are people who live for the day in our country.
A lot of people.
There are so many people who live for the day, including traders, bus conductors, and the rest. So when this thing happened, and they could not go to work, they could not make money, they were the ones who got angry and then made what was a noble idea turn violent. They mixed up with the protesters, and what the protest didn't stand for, we started seeing it. 17 police stations burnt in Lagos alone. Not only were they burning police stations, they would, whatever was inside the premises, including exhibit cars, they set ablaze. They set ablaze even courtrooms, set ablaze palace of the Oba of Lagos, you know.
Took money.
This was something that I saw governors, the governor of Kwara State, he even joined them in the protest. He walked with them for up to a kilometer. He walked with them as a mark of solidarity. The VP told them, look, we agree that this guy, because even the VP said when he saw some of the videos of police brutality and excesses, that he could not believe it. You know, so you were right in protesting. But when they were supposed to leave, and people like Shivaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu advised them to leave, that your voices have been heard. Leave so that you can at least get something out of this whole agitation. They refused. And then you can see, at the end of the day, see relics of destruction. How can anyone go to BRT terminals and be burning vehicles? Each of those vehicles is worth more than, is valued at more than 100 million. You are destroying them. So that is why
our
people,
own property.
Yes. It's not the Tinubus of this world that use this. It's not someone that uses BRT. So sometimes the poor unwittingly,
I don't know, inflict more pain
on themselves.
We are talking about infrastructural deficit. We are talking about a lot of
what things is called oiling their own shackles.
Oh,
when you are oiling your own shackles so that you can stay longer. And your around your wrist without failing.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu, we hop on one LRT from to Marina. It's this thing is basically from now. There's a video trending now. There's even a video trending now for you to know this is TVC. The video trending now. You see a police officer in Okene telling a guy to come down, and in coming down, took him to the ATM machine. And withdrew 25,000 naira. And the drivers that were passing, the travelers, they had to stop. That what you are doing is not good. And the man, they were filming the policeman, and he was still threatening to shoot, that he want to spill blood.
It's a very unfortunate thing, because protest, the democracy we have today, was a product of protest. Years of protest on the streets, sit-at-homes, organized by Campaign for Democracy and many groups. So we cannot just come today and say, oh, we don't want people to protest. But at the same time, we need to qualify the kind of protest that we want to wage. In the first instance, when public institutions are being become the subject of attack, like BRT, like DNA laboratory in Lagos State, like media institutions that are even supposed to reflect the aspirations and fears of the protesters, then you could see that there is a conscious attempt to hijack the mission of the protesters. Newsroom. So I think this is uncalled for, and I think if any protest to be organized and we are going to have this kind of thing, it's not going to be a popular protest. But it also reminds us that after 1 year, has the government been able to address some of the fundamental issues? I don't believe this arson was committed by the organizers of the EndSars project. I think it was taken over from them, and it can happen again if care is not taken. So the fear is that degenerated to mass arson, organized crime, the country, and even attacking institutions that are defending the poor, like media institutions, where they are there to propel the voices of from valley echoes. So there's no justification for people lost their jobs because of attacks on media institutions and the beginning. For about 2 weeks.
But I lost my office.
There was transport chaos because the artists were not available to take people from one place to the other. So we need to address that. It also shows that the government perhaps is yet to address some of the fundamental issues raised. In some states they set up panels, but there are some states that they didn't even set up panels, like in Kogi State, for instance, no sitting. The panel didn't sit, and even some submitted their reports. We don't know what has come out of those reports. And then what is the police doing? We just mentioned what happened in Kogi State. What are we doing to ensure that the police does not sustain a culture of a savage culture of attack on the masses?
There is nothing the police can do if they don't address recruitment into the force.
Training,
whatever they do now will not amount to anything. From the base, you have to tackle the problem from the base. The caliber of people getting into the police are not people that should be working in the police. Some of them are worse than armed robbers. Armed robbers. And when you give someone who is already minded to be like an armed robber a gun, you have empowered him. You have weaponized him. So he can then do what he likes. A lot of the bad eggs are still in the police. It's not the SARS alone.
Of course,
it's not in the SARS alone. Across the units in the police, there are bad eggs, giving the rest of them a bad name. And they are still there. So many people, I was reading something about even some extrajudicial killings, and impunity committed by the police even after this protest. They've not learned their lessons.
I want us to talk about, you know, the way we react even if we are protesting and want to register our displeasure. If you look at the list of the things, the billions of naira that will be spent for Lagos to come back to Lagos, even traffic lights across, people were going about with even signages.
Needless destruction.
Signages.
They went to FRSC, set ablaze, VIO's office.
Just
people.
Because VIO is trying to automate the system.
Not, you see, because when you say it's not protesters that went there, people were going to open prisons. They are not protesters, so they are friends of inmates.
Yes.
They want to free their friends.
That opportunity.
Yes, they just meshed with the real protesters.
Yes.
You can't tell me, for example,
but
that
the number of people, that's what is alarming. The number of hoodlums that took over Lagos State.
Yes, of course, we've always had a huge number of hoodlums. If they are to do a census for cultists in Lagos, do you know how many people who discover to be cultists? Because even at secondary school level now, we now have cults in Lagos. It's a big problem. If you run into them, you get caught in the crossfire. That is when you know that in Lagos we have a very serious cultism problem. You see, other people have kidnapping, all kinds of cultism. And a lot of those boys joined this protest to unleash mayhem. Killing people amounts to nothing to them. You can see how they were killing policemen. They killed the DPO and a little boy too got in our ward uniform. They were hailing him DPO. But when they arrested him, they arrested him.
He was paraded
with that broken lip of his. I knew that they had served some form of justice. If the boy had not traveled as we speak, then he should thank his stars. If he had not traveled, because looking at him that day, I saw somebody who could have his passport in his pocket. So if he has not traveled as we speak, then he should thank his stars.
Because now, yes, Wale, we're trying to balance it now. Yes, Shore is in Abuja. Shore cannot come to Lagos because of the court's limitation and everything. But they're still saying that, look, government, they don't have the rights. Now, I attended a press briefing on Monday, was it Thursday? In Lagos, the coalition of concerned civil society activists, they are saying that they are known activists, that they will not stand against, they will stand against any government that will want to stop anybody from protesting. But what they want is that they don't want the protests that can degenerate to violence. This the coalition was led by Nelson Ekujimi and Buska and some others, notable Declan, some notable civil society guys.
These are former student union leaders who had led several protests. Buska, Nelson Ekujimi, Declan, and all of them. So even Femi Falana, also spoke about this issue. I don't think anybody is saying that people cannot protest. In fact, you can't stop you from protesting anyway. No. But what we are saying is that protests that be counterproductive, protests that will destroy the future of the people, that will be against the interests of people that you are fighting for, that we should carry out that protest in a way that it will not jeopardize, public institutions, that are relevant to the people themselves. And I think it is possible. In any case, the protest is October 20. There is a window for the government to engage, those that are, responsible for organizing the protest. Because we have opportunity that we almost have some few days ahead. So government can still come in to say, okay, what are the grievances? What can we do in order to meet your expectations? So the government doesn't need to wait until things get out of hand before they can do something that is appropriate.
Okay, I have Etsu from Mina. Etsu is on the line. My first caller is on the line. Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ayo.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ayo. Baba Jide, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Esunope.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I want to appreciate you because you don't know how we over in Niger, or let me say northern part of this country, really appreciate you.
Thank you,
because
sir.
we feel you are representing almost everybody. You say things the way they are. This issue you are discussing now, but there is something that used to bother me on the way we talk about this country. Every day people abuse Nigeria. People talk bad about this country in social media. You know, I want to appreciate you the way you always ask our youth. This issue of protest and other things, they should just suspend it now. We just as what Ayo said, some people will still use opportunity and join them to looting people. So there is so many things that is going on in this country. Everybody feels marginalized. We are not happy the way things are going. But again, we don't have any country that this country. So we have to be very careful the way we talk about Nigeria in social media. All over the world is watching us, and I'm not comfortable the way we are abusing to talking about Nigeria. No matter what happens, if Babajide become president now, he want to do the best thing. But again, sometimes the people that work with you again, you will know some surprises.
Right.
So people, our youth should look at it. It's not always about protest. Let's see how we want to get Nigeria so that we can work.
Thank you, Etu, from Niger State. So, Babajide, moving on this, yes, it's going to be 1 year. Yes, we still have the good, not even the bad memory. We've not gotten it over with.
No, we can't get over it.
Psychologically, I was displaced. You know, the trauma that we went through in our place of work when we saw, you know, the dream. What's all we saw over time.
Yes, what we have built over the years.
The biggest studio in Africa, the most beautiful studio in Africa. You know, just
the
go
studio that the former chairperson of Africa Union,
yes,
Dlamini Zuma, came and saw it and said, "There's nothing like this in any part of Africa."
For those who
that's the chairperson of Africa Union, Dlamini Zuma, saying that when she visited,
if you visited South African Broadcasting Corporation, you understand. And if you've taken a guided tour to CNN Center in Atlanta, you will say, "Look, this is one of the best." And in Lagos,
just pattern after what you see watching Al Jazeera,
honestly,
you know, and
very unfortunate.
People just came.
Very unfortunate.
Was setting
remember this set?
Yes, now setting everywhere. I bless. My office.
The office we used to
Hangout. Even some of the research work that I had done for my book. You know, everything burnt. All of the awards that I kept in the office, everything burnt. So the memory is a very bad one. And when the Lagos Chamber of Commerce said, "See, we lost no less than 700 billion to this EndSars protests."
At the point in time, it became strange because when they got to the second week, when they got to the end of this thing, it was all about people carrying placards to tell President Muhammadu Buhari to resign.
Which was not the
It was
goal.
changed.
You see, the thing is, the moment these were naive young people. The moment government said, "See, we have heard you. We have accepted your demands. You made 5 demands. Were accepted." They then began to expand the demands to include other things. Why not just wait? Let this president shocked you by the prompt response to your demands. That's not usually his style. That's not his style. But he showed respect to young people. You said he needed to address. He came out, he addressed, and he even set up a committee to start the process of reforming the police, which our friend Clean Foundation,
Chukuma.
Yes, the late Chukuma. Yeah, he was part of that committee, and we were happy that the president put this patriotic Nigeria on this committee. It shows that the president means well. He wants to do something. Now you lost everything. You lost everything by refusing to leave the road at the time you were supposed to leave. You expanded it. You brought in political demands, which will make those of them in Abuja to start taking some politicians who are behind it.
No, that was what happened.
Later on, we started hearing that EndSars was meant to remove Buhari.
It was about the removal of Buhari.
How was it meant to remove Buhari? It was because of those extra demands that were added. So mistakes were made. And I think that even when they sit down, they will realize that, look, they made mistakes. That's how they lost some of us who were supporting them. That was how they lost our support.
I have Adams from Jos. Thank you for joining us.
Hello?
Adams, good afternoon.
Okay, afternoon.
Go ahead, please.
How it work?
Fine.
We're doing it.
Fine.
No, pertaining this EndSars matter, sincerely speaking, government have to wake up badly. Because as I was talking to you, and I am a victim of this police brutality.
Yes.
I was almost twice or thrice without doing anything. And the government did not do anything for me as I was talking to you. I'm not alone. So this type of thing, if a policeman on a serious note, this their logo that say police is friend, as for me, police is not a friend. They should remove that thing from their logo on a serious note.
But they will change one day. They will change.
No, on a serious note, as you see me now, as I am talking to you, I am with a bullet and an iron with me.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
So this is our country, we didn't know where we are going to.
It's unfortunate.
Police is not a friend. Let's be...
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Police.
And then you've had him now, you policemen. You should behave like a friend. You should behave like a friend.
Those people that want to protest to remember the first anniversary of...
Remember, your protest can be hijacked.
Yes.
No one is saying don't protest. In a democracy, protests are legitimate.
And the police they should have the responsibility of even keeping the protesters.
Another thing is, police should protect the protesters against people out to attack the protesters. Because this is how things escalate. There are some people who make up their minds that, oh, we are going to attack this
anybody that comes out, yes.
So they should also be protected. Let the protest be peaceful. If at all is going to happen, it should be peaceful. Lagosians want peace. Having gone through all of the events of last October, nobody wants to see such a thing happen again. So hopefully it won't get to the point that some of us are apprehensive about.
Okay.